Have you ever had that strange feeling, that sense of déjà vu, where you're certain you've lived this exact moment before? Or maybe you've looked up at the stars and wondered if this reality, everything you see and feel, is all there is. What if I told you that some of the brightest minds on the planet are seriously considering an idea straight out of science fiction? The idea that our universe, our lives, you and me, are all part of a sophisticated computer simulation. Are we just lines of code running on some cosmic hard drive? It sounds crazy, but the more you look into it, the more unsettlingly plausible it becomes. Let's unplug from the everyday and explore the rabbit hole of the simulation theory. The concept isn't entirely new. Philosophers have pondered the nature of reality for centuries. Think of Plato's allegory of the cave, where prisoners mistake shadows on a wall for the real world. But the modern simulation theory gained traction in 2003 with a paper by philosopher Nick Bostrom. He proposed a trilemma, suggesting that one of three mind-bending possibilities must be true. First, civilizations like ours almost always go extinct before developing the technology to create ancestor simulations, that is, hyper-realistic simulations of their past. Second, advanced civilizations simply have no interest in running such simulations. Or third, we are almost certainly living inside one right now. Given our own rapid technological progress, especially in virtual reality and AI, the first two options start to look less likely. We are already creating increasingly complex, simulated worlds. If we continue on this path, it seems inevitable that our descendants, or some other advanced civilization, could create a simulation indistinguishable from reality. And if they can, they'd likely run billions of them. If that's the case, the odds are statistically overwhelming that we are in one of the many simulations, not the one base reality. This isn't just a philosophical game. Some leading scientists, from cosmologists to physicists, are taking this idea very seriously. Why? Because it offers potential explanations for some of the deepest mysteries of our universe. Think about it. If our world is a program, it would have rules. It would have a fundamental code. And that sounds a lot like what we call the laws of physics. The universe seems to operate on a set of fixed mathematical principles. Gravity, the speed of light, the charge of an electron. These constants govern everything. Why are they so perfectly tuned to allow for life? In a simulation, these aren't cosmic accidents. They're parameters set by the programmers. Furthermore, the idea of a finite computable universe solves some tricky paradoxes. It suggests that everything, at its core, is information. This way of thinking aligns surprisingly well with what modern physics is telling us about the fundamental nature of reality. It's a hypothesis that, while wild, could be testable. Scientists are even looking for glitches in the matrix, anomalies in astronomical data or physics experiments that might betray the simulated nature of our world. So, where's the physical evidence? Let's dive into the quantum realm. One of the strangest aspects of our universe is that things don't seem to exist in a definite state until they are observed. This is the core of quantum mechanics, famously illustrated by the double-slit experiment. A particle like an electron acts like a wave of possibilities until you measure it, at which point its wave function collapses and it chooses a single location. This is bizarre. Why would reality wait for a conscious observer to make up its mind? But if you think about it from a simulation perspective, it makes perfect sense. It's a resource-saving trick. A video game doesn't render the details of a city block you're not looking at. It only generates the reality you need to experience right when you need it. The universe might be doing the same thing, rendering particles only when they're observed to conserve computational power. Then there's the idea of a pixelated universe. Physicists have wondered if space-time itself is smooth and continuous, or if it's made of tiny, discrete units at the smallest possible scale, called the Planck length. If it is, then our universe has a fundamental resolution, just like a digital image. We wouldn't be able to perceive these pixels directly, but some scientists believe their effects might be detectable in the behavior of ultra-high-energy cosmic rays. If they find evidence that space has a grid-like structure, it would be a bombshell, a huge hint that we're living on a cosmic hard drive. Of course, not everyone is convinced. There are powerful counter-arguments, especially from the field of cosmology. One of the biggest hurdles is the sheer scale. The computational power needed to simulate an entire universe, down to every last quantum interaction for billions of years, is staggering, far beyond anything we can currently conceive. Simulating the brain of just one person with its trillions of connections is a monumental task. Now, imagine simulating all 8 billion people on Earth, plus the rest of the galaxy. Critics argue that even for a godlike civilization, the resources required would be nearly infinite. Another issue is that the theory doesn't seem to make many unique, testable predictions. Many of the glitches or pixels could also be explained by other, less exotic physical theories. Some scientists also point to a problem of infinite regress. If our universe is a simulation, couldn't the universe of our simulators also be a simulation, created by an even higher level of intelligence? This leads to a never-ending tower of simulations, which doesn't really explain the ultimate origin of reality. It just pushes the question one level up. So, while the simulation hypothesis is a fascinating thought experiment, many scientists remain skeptical, preferring to stick with explanations that don't require an unseen programmer. Let's set aside the physics for a moment and consider the deeper, more personal implications. If we are living in a simulation, what does that mean for us? For our free will, if our choices are ultimately determined by an algorithm, are they really our choices at all? It's a deeply unsettling thought. Are you just a sophisticated puppet, your every thought and feeling pre-programmed or calculated in real time? Some argue that even within a simulation, free will could still exist. Perhaps the simulation isn't fully deterministic. Maybe it just sets the initial conditions and the laws of physics, then lets things run. Our choices could be genuinely novel inputs that the simulation evolves with. And what about consciousness? How can lines of code produce the rich, subjective experience of being alive? The feeling of warmth from the sun, the taste of chocolate, the emotion of love, can these truly be reduced to just information processing? This is the so-called hard problem of consciousness, and it's a mystery whether we're in a simulation or not. Perhaps consciousness is an emergent property that can arise from complex computation. Or maybe consciousness is fundamental, something that exists outside the simulation and is simply plugged in to experience this reality. The questions are dizzying and cut to the very core of what it means to be human. So, where does that leave us? Trapped in the Matrix, waiting for Neo to show up? Probably not. The simulation theory is, for now, a profound and provocative idea rather than a proven fact. It forces us to question our most basic assumptions about reality, consciousness, and our place in the cosmos. Whether it's true or not, the journey of exploring it is valuable. It pushes the boundaries of science and philosophy, and it brings us to one final, awe-inspiring question. If we are code, if our universe is a grand simulation, then who is the coder? What is their purpose? Are they benevolent scientists, curious artists, or just a kid playing a cosmic video game? We may never know the answer, but the next time you look up at the night sky, just for a moment, entertain the thought. Maybe, just maybe, you're looking at the most beautiful screensaver ever created. Thanks for watching. If this video bent your mind a little, give it a like and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.